my God. Let's see. Here we go. Mom, I can hear you. Oh, God. Okay. What the heck? Everything's like frozen. Okay, there we go. So this is my like last chat I'm probably gonna do on my side, just because I just can't. Let's see. Joey Nighthawk, say something if you hear me. Well, I don't hear you, but I see you. Walking Dead fan, looking forward to season 9. That's like the conflicting thing for me, is that I am sort of, only because of what Andrew Lincoln has said about how he's read what Angela Kang has come up with, and it reminds him of the pilot favorite ever, and I could watch it over and over again, and it's just really great, and it's genuinely scary, and you know, just really a really solid episode. And he's saying that like the first 8 of season 9 and stuff are very reminiscent of the early years of the show, but then at the same time there's been so many other times in the past where they've said stuff, you know, like, oh, it's so amazing, like, oh, like what did they say? Remember they said, like, when they read the script for the season 6 finale, and they were like, oh, I was so torn up about the script, it's so amazing, it's so whatever, and it was the freaking cliffhanger, like how, I just feel like, how can I believe anything? But yeah, so I don't know, like, I'm interested in that respect, but at the same time, of course, I'm like, that just pisses me off that that my favorite character, who deserves to still be there, couldn't have held on just for one more season to get to whatever. But then at the same time, we've talked about this, it's that we wouldn't even have a new showrunner right now if it wasn't for and everyone pitching a fit. So who knows, but yeah. Ella Grace says hi, and Ashley Lane says hi. Katie Rose B says, I loved your Carl tribute video. Thank you! Yeah, guys, I was gonna say, if you haven't seen it yet, please check it out, because I literally spent, I mean, probably like 100 hours on that thing. And it's like, it's not even just the editing, but just like getting all the footage together. And I'm still so mad, because this always happens. Whenever I finish something and I think it's done and it's perfect, suddenly I start thinking about a few other scenes I could have included, or like a different voiceover at a certain point or something. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm mad. Like, it's not perfect. Like, it's not the way I wanted it now. Like I would add so many different things if I could. But I have to just keep telling myself that it's fine. And at the time I posted it, it was perfect. So anything else is just extra. But yeah, I worked really hard on it for like, just from like the, like conceptualizing it was almost like a year ago. And then I've just been, I before I drove, I would be taking public transportation and like listening to Spider-Man 2 soundtrack, the main title song, and Farewell, and I'd listen to them on repeat, just getting ideas and like seeing it in my head for literally like every time I was on public transport, so for a long time. And then coming home and doing like the Marvel logo thing, and I did that, and it was funny because I remember getting so excited when I thought of that, to sort of do like a total mirror of the Spider-Man 2 opening credits. And I realized, I got so freaking excited when I realized that The Walking Dead is also a comic. Like, I know it is, but just as I was editing and I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh my god, wait, The Walking Dead is also a comic. I should do like Marvel. Oh god, and I got so excited about the idea. So like I found a software that could do it, and I was so excited when I finished that. I was like, oh my god, so now I have like, I had the AMC original series at the beginning, and then I had the little Image Comics Marvel thing, and then I was like, alright, so now whatever I put after this has to live up to like how cool that looks, in my opinion, you know? So I had to try really to make it all go, and actually the last thing I put together of it was the first like 30 seconds after the credits. I had no idea what to put there because I knew it was going to be all like younger Carl stuff, but I didn't like know. It was really bad. Like for a really, really long time, I had nothing there. I had no idea what I was going to do. And then it all started coming together at the last minute. So I'm happy, but yeah, there's still like random things I wish I included, but oh well. I love your Carl video so much. It's amazing. Heart, 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 heart. Thank you. Yeah, the Carl vid was great work. Thank you guys so much. Please, yeah, just like spread the word about that. Watch it, cause yeah, it's like I was like shaking as it was uploading because and it took like forever because I exported it in like ProRes HD from iMovie or whatever, so that took a bit, and then uploading it to YouTube took like an hour and 30 minutes. I was going insane. And in the quality, YouTube still kind of ruined the quality a little bit anyway, so I'm like mad. But yeah, so I was literally a wreck as it was uploading because it's like I've been sitting with this thing and this idea for like a year, and I've been really excited about it. And then it was like uploading, and I was like, oh my god. So I was like freaking out. So yeah, be nice if I could get more eyeballs on that. Hi there, I love your reactions. You look beautiful, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I'm like in the process of like fixing because it's like it doesn't. I have been fixing it. And I cut my own hair too, and you can see there's like strands that are way too long that I missed. But yeah, I have been trying to dye my hair the bottom part like a blonde ombre thing over. It's coming out too orange, but I fixed it a little bit. It's like more blonde now. But I'm gonna fix it even more because I want it to be, where is it? I have like one color on this side, or is it on this side? No, it's on this side. Like right there, it's like a really, really like platinum-ish blonde, and that's the color I'm going for. And I don't know how I got it, but just there, and that's the color that I want all of it to be, so I'm trying really hard to get it to that shade. So, how did you learn to play the guitar? I really want to learn, and I've tried, and I find it, even though it's really easy. I mean, I wouldn't say it's really easy. But honestly, I learned from, I was looking to see if I have them around, from Green Day songbooks, honestly. That's how I learned, because, you know, no shade, no Green Day, but, you know, their songs are sort of, you know, they're pretty easy. So, no, I don't have it in here. But yeah, so I got like a bunch of Green Day songbooks because they were my favorite band at the time, and that made it a lot more fun and easy to learn the songs and just learn chords at least, because I knew the way the songs went, and it was fun, and I was learning my favorite song, my favorite band, and that made it really easy and fun. And so then from there, you know, you learn Green Day songs and you pretty much know like all the basic chords to play other songs. So then I started covering other songs, and then there it took off to learning it in general. Ugh, and I have this zit on my collarbone. It's going away, but it's like really weird. Like just right there on my collarbone. Really annoying. Let's see. When you uploaded it, I was out and dropped everything and then watched it. Aw, thank you, my life as Ophia? Thank you. Yeah, I thank you for watching it. I'm gonna like respond to a bunch of comments under it because yeah, I'm like got some nice things under there, so I'm learning Wonderwall by wasted this because everyone knows that, but my coordination is terrible. Oh yeah, I feel like that's like the first song everyone learns on guitar these days. I think it was one of the first ones I learned. I learned was Your Guardian Angel by the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. But yeah. Love ha 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 her comments and your reaction on them is so good. She's something else. But it's so funny because ever since the finale, I've been just thinking and thinking and thinking about other ways we could have reached the same conclusion without Carl dying. And it's like there's many ways we could have got there, you know? And it's funny because I think it's really this is why I keep saying that I'm almost positive that it was all behind the scenes contract money drama stuff that was the result of Carl dying, because the very first thing I thought of, if I was a writer here, okay, just putting this out there, is, you know, Scott Gimple or whoever tried to say that in the comics, how Rick sort of just decides to spare Negan on his own, and some people thought that decision came out of nowhere. And because of that, Scott Gimple was like, oh, that's a plot hole. That's a plot hole, you know, that Rick just makes this decision on his own, and he needs some motivation to do that. So we had to kill Carl to be that catalyst for him to save Negan. And I was like, that doesn't feel like a plot hole to me, honestly. Like, and then I started thinking, I was like, I would have really liked like a very like nuanced season of like getting into the mind of Rick Grimes and him rising, like, because like the group has already faced enough like trauma and have lost so many good people to want to stop fighting. Like yeah, it like makes at the same time it's like we can't keep doing this. It's pointless. Like, look at everyone that we're losing. And I was saying it's like even Glenn's death should have still been the catalyst at this point because he was such a moral compass character. You know what I mean? And his death was such a big turning point for the show as a whole, moving into this whole Negan arc. So it would have been kind of nice if they even like just rounded it out with Glenn's death and like remembering things that he said and how moral he was and how, you know, whatever. They really could have done that. You know, it was like Carl's death just kind of came in the middle of the season, just at the mid-season premiere and mid-season finale, mid-season premiere, which also it's just kind of like really just going to throw his death in the middle there. Like, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening. And you know, and so I was like, I would have really kind of liked a season where, I mean, think about that. Like, I think that would have been a very interesting season if we had Rick sort of just noticing all of this around him, you know, all the people they've lost, how fighting is pointless, how if he kills Negan, he's just as bad as Negan, and all this stuff, you know. I feel like it would have been kind of cool to see him come to that conclusion on his own. Like, am I alone there? Because it's like, it almost makes it seem like Rick can't make up his own mind. Like, you know what I mean? That like, he didn't need Carl to tell him this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels like, I don't know. And then I've also been thinking about how in 609, where you know, Rick was talking to Carl while he was unconscious on his bedside after he lost his eye, and Rick was saying the whole, I want to show you the new world, Carl. I want to make it a reality for you. You know what I mean? And now suddenly we have Rick saying, like, you showed me the new world, Carl. I'm like, what? I'm like, it's just kind of like, somehow we have ended up with Carl showing his father the new world. And I'm like, that's not the story I signed up for, honestly. And it's just kind of like, how did we end up here? Like, it just doesn't seem it just doesn't seem right, you know. And it's also just the fact that it's like after everything, which is why every time, especially while I was editing my Carl video, I was getting very, very, very emotional, and every time I've watched it back I get very, very emotional, because I tried to show like as many moments as I could from his life leading up to when we realize he got bit and he's dying, um and that it's like he had to go through so much crap, and the big payoff for that is him shooting himself in the head before he ever reaches his full potential. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's what I waited 8 seasons for. I watched this kid go through layers and layers of like unimaginable trauma just for him to kill himself, essentially. And I'm like, yeah, it's like just of all, like, I think out of all the characters, obviously Judith though too, but he deserved to see the new world and thrive in it and be part of it, and you know what I mean? And it's just really, really, really gets me mad. Like, I really am never getting over this, guys. Like, it's so like. Like, I just, like, the other day I was driving, and I'm driving, everything's fine, life's great, you know, and then I randomly start thinking, I was like, Carl Grimes is dead. He's in the ground. Like, like, he had to shoot himself in the head. He's not going to experience the new world. And then watch, eventually there is going to be a new world, and you know, everyone's going to be fine and the world's going to get back to society, but Carl Grimes died and he doesn't deserve to be a casualty of that apocalyptic world, and blah, blah, blah. And then I started tearing up while I was driving. I was literally like, I was just crying. Like, oh, like, because I think that's my thing. I think I've told you guys this before. Like, death is like my biggest thing that like weighs on my head. Like I'm really scared of dying myself. I think like it's just the one thing that always gets me, whether it's real or fictional. And you know, and that's why certain, you know, why do you think we have like TV shows and movies where like people die? Like, you know, because it gets you like thinking and feeling. And I mean, this death in particular did not need to happen, but just because it did, I'm like, I just keep thinking about it. Like the way you guys know that like Titanic is my favorite movie, and obviously that whole movie is like all about dying in this catastrophic event. And you know, and I just cry every single time I watch that, because I always have different thoughts in my head every time I see it. The older I get, I have a different perspective on that movie every time I see it. And then it's like, now with this, it's just like weighing on my head, and it's not just because it's like a death, but it's just because he was young and, you know, all this stuff. And it's just the fact that it did not have to happen. And, you know, when I think of like fictional stuff, like I don't put myself in the world, but like in my head, like, you know, fictional stuff is sort of supposed to be real in your head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the whole point why it exists, like why you get invested in it. And so it's like, it's really, really difficult when you spend like 8 seasons watching this young boy go through all of this, and the wonderful big payoff is him dying and shooting himself in the head before before he even really got to do like anything. like you know what I mean? Like we got like a tiny glimpse of Leader Carl there right before he died, and that was it. That's all we're gonna get ever. And it just really pisses me off, and I get really sad. I don't really like the way he's reacting. Like with Lori, he lost it, and it was interesting to see, and Rick might be in shock and all, but he's acting like nothing happened. Yeah, I mean, no, he is. I mean, he's definitely acting like something happened. I mean, you can tell he's, you know, very shook, so to say. But but true though. And it's also like, again, like I had said, like the reactions of everyone else as well. And then everyone is saying like, oh, well, why do you expect everyone to just break down crying because Carl died? They've all like, seen crap, like blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but of course it's at this point, at this death, where everyone's like, who cares? It happens all the time. I'm like, oh. But like literally I am so, like, you guys know how I have always defended Carl. I have always stuck up for this character. I've always championed this character. Whatever, whatever. So now that he is gone, I'm literally treating this like an actual death. Like, I am already thinking about all the stuff I want to buy. Like, I want to buy, like, the Science Dog t-shirt. I want to buy, like, a bunch of other things, and I'm gonna wear this stuff. I'm not gonna let this character be forgotten, because Lord knows the show is probably gonna forget him by the time season 9 rolls around. It's gonna be a whole new world, and we're just gonna move on, and Carl's in the freaking ground. Let's see. Are you going to react to Fear the Walking Dead tonight? No, honestly, I don't like that show. Like, I know people say it's a good show and whatever, but I cannot get into those characters. I don't know what it is, but it's just I don't like the characters. I don't like their locations. I don't know. It's just like there's just something about it. I just can't really get into it. I had a crush on Nick for a minute there at the very beginning. But then that subsided somehow, and I was like, eh. Are you going to Walker Stalker this year? Come to San Jose because I want to meet you. I don't have San Jose money, but I don't know if I'll go. Because, I mean, I got my picture with Chandler last year, which, by the way, is really sad because he had already died on the show at that point, and I had no idea. Obviously, I met him in August, and I guess he had filmed his death stuff back in June, or at least he found out he was dying in June. So I'm so happy and excited in my picture, and he's like, and I told him, I'm like the biggest Carl fan on. He's probably just like, I'm dying, so you better get prepared, just like, but obviously couldn't say anything. So that's kind of sad now when I look back at the picture. But yeah, I don't know. I still have my hat. Where is it? I still have my hat. I actually like this hat. I actually think I look pretty good in this hat. Ayy. What the heck? Ah! Yeah. I think I look pretty good in this. I think I rock this hat. What up? Yeah, my Carl cosplay. Good times. I went all out with that. That's why they killed him, so people can buy more merch. Yeah! I literally... My hair. But yeah, I remember I got really mad. I got really mad when they were like, here's the official Carl Grimes t-shirt or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so now we have like official Carl Grimes crap. Like, and I think it's so funny too, because like this whole time I was like, give us Carl content, and then like they literally like push Carl onto us just for his whole death arc, and I'm like, that's not what I meant. I get what I mean? It's like when I asked for Carl content and Carl merch, I wasn't asking for in memoriam crap and like and a whole death arc. And that's the thing too, like people are getting me so mad. They keep saying like, they dedicated like 2 whole episodes to him dying. And I'm like, Okay, do you think you're telling me I'm supposed to be happy about that? Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, thank you so much, Walking Dead, for giving me 2 episodes of Carl dying. That's just what I wanted. Like, no, that's not what I wanted. It's like they're just thinking they're just throwing me a bone. You know, here's some 2 episodes of him dying. Like, no. I'm not watching season 9. The finale literally showed that they didn't have to kill Carl. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm saying too, is that it's like, I've dedicated so much time to this whole thing that it's like, it's very difficult to just drop the show like a hot potato, you know? Like, that's why, like, I kept watching for the rest of season 8. And plus, I knew that they were gonna keep, mentioning him and stuff throughout the season, so I wanted to see how all that plays out. But now moving into season 9, like, you know, it is going to be sort of a new thing, most likely. And so it's just kind of like, either you're going to like it or you're not. Obviously, I'm probably going to tune into the first episode. I'm not going to react, though, just because I don't want to... Because there were just so many people that hated my reaction to the finale, which is honestly stupid. Like, if you can't handle one person's opinion on it, like, everyone was just expecting me to be just like super into the finale and like super excited and whatever and positive. And it's like, but I'm not gonna like fake my reaction and act like I'm super excited about it. You know, so I don't want to, because I don't want to be a negative person. That's why I never complained about the show until they killed Carl. Because I didn't want to be that person that's like complaining all the time, whatever. And so I don't want to like react to the finale, the premiere in case whatever. But then I also just, like, I kind of want to be over it. Like, I kind of want to be done with it. Like, because I was saying to someone, I save a lot of the comments I write back to people sometimes, because when I get into my mood and I start really responding, I'm like, okay, like I'm serving facts right now, so that I save them into my notes. So, what did I say? I said that, I can't find it. But basically my whole point is that, oh yeah, it's that if they're in season 9, if they're doing the time jump, if they're doing all of that, then it's like, I said that I don't want to get all reinvested in these aged up babies, which is what, you know, we're going to get. And then also, this is my thing too, that I've been thinking about as well. It's that it's like, there was, like, I think it's good on shows to have like all your demographic bases covered, sort of. So it's like you have your like older women that love like Daryl and Rick and stuff that watch because they like them or whatever, and you have like other people that watch for whatever. You have guys that like Maggie and crap and that stuff, and then you had like teenagers, guys and girls, that like related to Carl, or like girls that had crushes on Carl or whatever, and then you kill him. So then you got rid of that demographic there. So, you know, it's like now they're kind of like, you know, so I think it's like, what are they going to do now to like fill that demographic? They're going to just like shove Enid in there more? Are they going to like recast Henry and have Henry be older now? Are they going to like do something? Because it's like, but then at the same time, my problem with that is that they're essentially random people. Like the whole point of why it felt like it mattered to be invested in Carl is because he's the freaking son of the main protagonist, you know what I mean? And it's like, they're just trying to like push Henry in here, and I'm like, he's a random kid. Like, literally random kid. And am I supposed to feel the same way towards this random kid that I felt for Carl for the last 8 years? Like, are they really expecting me to just suddenly be like, oh yeah, yeah, like I totally feel the same exact emotional connection to this random kid, like totally. A kid's a kid, right? A boy's a boy. Like, yeah, of course, yeah. Like, no. You know? So, I don't know. And I feel like that's also kind of sad, too, for, like, any kids or teens that grew up watching the show and were, like, around the same age as Carl. And then he dies. That's kind of sad. And, like I'm not even like a teenager, but I've told you guys already that I always relate to like teen characters and like young adult characters. And so if I was like actually like Carl's age and like started watching the show when I was like 11 or something and like grew up with the character and stuff, and then he dies, I'd be like, what's the point? Like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, especially when like kids looked up to this character and stuff, and then he dies and has to kill himself. It's just a really nice message. A really inspirational thing. Yeah. Like, hey kids! Story. My little 14-year-old brother has a crush on you and loves your reactions. Can you say hi to my brother Tarek? It will mean a lot to him. Heart, heart, heart. Hello! Oh, that's so sweet. They should have kept him alive, changed his roles a bit. I would have then been happy with Henry getting some of Carl's roles. Not now, though. No, exactly, because it's also just so transparent as well, and that's one of the reasons why I cannot get behind Henry as a character, because it's so obvious what they're doing. Like, literally, while Carl is on his freaking deathbed, what do? They keep doing these flashes to Henry, who is clearly, like, paralleling young Carl, and it's like, really, like, you're not even letting us, like, mourn Carl before you're like, hey, here's the new kid! Like, immediately, it's like, and then how I said in the finale, I was like, wow, Henry's got more screen time than Carl got in the last 3 years, but, you know. And that's why it's just kind of like, yeah, like, I can't get on board with that, because every time they put Henry on screen, for me, it's just a constant reminder that Carl is dead, because I'm like, oh yeah, here's this new young boy, or whatever, you know what I mean? And then the only new character that I really like is Sadiq, and I feel almost obligated to, because Carl died for him, but at the same time, you know, he does seem like a really great guy, so I'm at least happy that Carl died for someone that seems really awesome. But at the same time, like, every time I see Sadiq on screen, like, the only thing I can think is, we traded Carl for this guy. Like, honestly, do you think that Maggie's gonna try to kill Rick? Oh god, I hope not. That's the thing, too, like, I'm hoping that whole scene was a total misdirect, which it probably was, knowing AMC. But it's just like that sadistic music in the background and the shadows and everything. That would not be good if we had a civil war within the group. When they mentioned Carl in the finale, it felt half-assed to me. Yeah. I think it's kinda... it's funny because people thought it was like so beautiful and so emotional, and honestly, like, the whole time I was watching it, you can see it in my reaction, I'm just kind of like, because it just felt like, just stop with, like, I mean, obviously, like, Rick walking with little Carl was nice and everything, but it was just like, I remember you showed me who I am. I'm like, what? Like, no, like, I didn't, like, I did not want, like, what is this story of, like, the son that died so that his father can continue? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's unexpected, but is it really good? I mean, I think I saw someone say something. Hang on, I'm going to scroll back up here. I saw someone say something. Oh, yeah, right here. It made your prediction correct. Coral's death made me stronger, which I said in my video, in my Carl Deserves Better video, when I was like talking, and then it's so funny to me too how people are like, oh, like Carl's death makes the whole series unpredictable now, and I'm like, okay, so tell me why. I literally have predicted like almost everything that's happened since the bite reveal. I mean, if he, oh my god, though, you guys are right. Oh my god. Oh my god, he pretty much all but said Carl's death made me stronger. Like, he didn't say that exact line, but that's literally what he said then, basically, with the, you showed me who I am, I'm a leader now, blah, blah, blah. Oh, like, oh my god. They really did that, guys. And I called that. Henry's acting talent is something of a prodigy, at least compared to Carl. Honestly, though, I don't think so. Like, I still feel like people gave Chandler way too hard of a time. And I also think, of course, he did really well in his last 2 episodes, which we've talked about this before. He had said, you know, oh yeah, I wasn't in school. I didn't have to like focus on school for those episodes. I really got to like dive into the script and do whatever, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm like, see, that's the whole reason I was so excited for when he turned 18, because I was like, oh my god, like, yay, like he's finally going to be like an adult cast member. He's finally going to be, you know, on the set more often than he used to be, and he's going to be able to, you know, work harder on the stuff. And we got a glimpse of what that could have been like, and it was good. It was better. Most people agree he was better in his last 2 episodes. And now we're never gonna know how much better that could have gotten if he was able to, like, you know, fully dedicate all his time and all that, and just whatever, because you don't know. Like, everyone's different. You know, people say, like, oh, but look at the kids on Stranger Things. They're even younger than him and in school and killing it. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, like, everyone's like, come on. Like, give people their time. Like, everyone is different. But then some people don't think that either. Like, the podcast I listened to, they were like, I know some people don't like Chandler Riggs acting, but honestly, whatever Chandler Riggs didn't have, Henry has like 10 times what Chandler didn't have. So I was like, okay. But yeah. Negan confirmed he's not fighting with Rick next season. Well, I hope not. I mean, my god. Maggie is going to hang Rick from a tree. That'll be something. They ended up recasting Chandler Riggs in the end after all. Do you mean the tiny kid? I love how everyone was saying, like, how'd they get Chandler Riggs to be that little again? My question is, in the letter, he tells Rick about the walks. Did he tell Michonne about the walks too? Because they pan to Judith and she looks at Rick, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that's the first thing I thought when his thing says, go on those walks with Judith, she'll remember them. And obviously he must have told Michonne, like, you're Judith's new mom, so go on those walks, whatever. And then she's doing it as well. I thought I thought that was clearly what that was supposed to mean. So that's nice, but it's like, ugh. This is I told you guys already, like, I'm never getting over this. I'm never gonna be able to like stop talking about it because I just have so many feelings. I have so many emotions. I have so many thoughts. I love your impression of Rick. Thanks. Oh man. Now I want to splice together when I said in that video, Carl's death made me stronger, with him saying you showed me, Carl. You taught me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm stronger. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. Fixing my bangs. And that's the thing, too. Like, how insulting is that? Like what Morgan said about how they've lost everything good. And I'm like, yeah, basically. Like I saw, okay, this is literally terrible. And I should not have laughed at it, but I just thought it was so freaking funny. You guys should go on YouTube and search. Let me see what it is. Yeah, okay. Search how season 8 of The Walking Dead will end since Carl was bitten. Parentheses, GTA 5. So it's a guy that did it in Grand Theft Auto, and it is freaking hysterical. It's terrible. It's morbid. It's terrible, and I should not have laughed, but I laughed because me and my friend, we were like, when it happened, the way Morgan said, like, we can't come back from it, meaning, like, morally they can't come back from everything they've done and how they've lost everything good. And, me and my friend, we were like, yeah, like, Carl dies. It's just like, whoop, time to just give up. And I know there's Judith, whatever. But it was just funny because that was the first thought I had, especially, like with Rick saying it was all for you, whatever, whatever. And of course he also said it was all for Judith too. But, before they even got to Judith being a thing, it was for Carl. And so, I thought, I don't know, I thought it was, God, what the heck was I saying? What the heck? I forgot what I was saying. Oh no, yeah, I just thought it was really funny because I was like, yeah, that's how it would end if this was the real life. Because it's like, there's only so much a human can withstand. Like, you know what I mean? It's like people who are depressed, everyone in the apocalypse should be depressed by now. Like, if people, like, if they weren't clinically depressed, if they didn't actually have a chemical imbalance in their brain to begin with, this apocalypse would jumpstart something like that in, like, everyone. Like, everyone would be like Morgan. Like, everyone would be insane. Like, no one would be, like, in their right mind after all of this. Like, the human mind is, like, it's strong, whatever, we can adapt to things. But it's just, like, at this point, after everything that's happened, after everyone they've lost, like, so effed up in the head that, like, it doesn't even matter who else you have alive to fight for or whatever. It's like people who are depressed and have families still kill themselves because it's like, because it's in their head, you know what I mean? It's something that they are fighting themselves. And that's why it's like, in this world, it's getting really difficult for me to believe that everyone can just bounce back from this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why we were like, when this happened, it'd be like, Rick, after everything that's gone, like, he'd be mental in the head and, like, not be able to process this. Like, it's just, like, crazy to me, you know, that he would have, I mean, everything he said, like, everything he did was for you. Like, that's what he said. And it's like, that would literally drive a person insane. And like, yeah, they have the letters and everything, but it's like, I don't, like, it's just in the real world, all I can picture is him just being like, goodbye. Like, you know, like, I just can't even, like, the world would be so bleak and we would all be so messed up. That's all I'm saying. So it just seems a little much to just be like, I'm stronger. Like that's literally what he did. Like, he was just thinking for a second, and then he went back, just in 1 second, went right back into Rick. Anyone who wants to live in peace can come with us. Blah, blah, blah. His way is over. I'm like, we're really back to this already. Like, preaching leader Rick in, like, 2.5 seconds. Like, okay. Chandler has done some films. We will see how good the acting could have been on The Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm actually interested in seeing that too. It's gonna be really weird because, like, I cannot picture him in, like, any other role. So it's gonna be really weird. I know he said that he played, like, some, like, total redneck, like, serial killer person or something, like some psycho redneck person with a mullet. So that'll be interesting. I don't know how that'll go. Because I think I did tell you guys that when I was getting my footage for my Carl video, and I had to look through old episodes and, you know, skim through them, watch some scenes and see what happens in them, and then decide if I want them and stuff. You know, I had to rewatch a lot of his scenes and stuff. And after that, I did start to see some of the flaws. I was like, ooh, I was like, that was a little rough. like that performance was a little rough there, a little bit. And then I just, like, I had noticed every time it required something more, like, gritty from him, it was always, like, very breathy. Like, it was always suddenly like, just go. Like, you know, it was just like, I'm being serious. So we'll see how he plays a crazy psycho redneck person. But yeah, those are my impressions, by the way, guys. Yeah. So, obviously, no shade, Chandler, no shade. But, yeah. I think you misread my comment. LOL, Norman Reedus, not Negan, confirmed on Twitter he's not fighting with brother Rick in the next season. They are just not happy with the decision. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Poor Brie, you probably won't be able to hear a silencer without crying and laughing, right? Yeah, I laugh to cover my tears. That's smiling through the pain. That's me, yeah. I think I saw, let me see. I saw someone suggest something. Have you ever thought of reacting to old Carl-centric episodes? They wouldn't be blind reactions, but they'd still be interesting. I love you and your mom's commentary. That's actually quite interesting. I never thought about that because I've seen some people, it's been like popping up in my recommended. Some people have been deciding to go back to the beginning and react to The Walking Dead from the beginning, and obviously they've already watched it, but they're just kind of like going back and revisiting. And people still care about those sort of reactions. So maybe, I mean, that might be interesting and whatever, just to kind of look back. But I'd probably be also salty because, like, just like after, during the break, during that mid-season break, after Carl had his bite and then, knowing he was dying, my mom and I went back and we watched a few season 1 episodes. We watched episode 1 and then we watched TS19, and I was so upset throughout the whole episodes because everyone is dead except for Rick, Carol, and Daryl. Ice cream truck. I don't know if you can hear it. Da-na-na-na-na. But yeah, so I was just so upset because everyone, like I said, except for 3 adults in the group, are dead. And it's like to think that the 2 children don't make it, Carl and Sophia don't make it, no one else makes it. It's just very sad watching it back from the beginning. And I know I got into an argument with a guy about this the other day. He was like, "Oh no, like it doesn't matter that they die. It's how their death and their life affected everyone else." And I'm like, okay, but still, it makes everything feel sort of pointless because it feels like, what is the payoff though for all of the deaths? Like, yeah, they made it work with Carl's death and the sparing of Negan and all that crap, but it's like the most unnecessary sense I've ever seen. Like, you know what I mean? That didn't have to happen. And so, again, the payoff for Carl's character for me, there is no payoff. The payoff was him killing himself. Honestly. So that's why it's just kind of like, I don't know if I would recommend The Walking Dead to anyone now because I don't want to put them through that. I don't want to put them through watching this show from episode 1 and getting invested in this and then it turning into a totally different thing around the end of season 6 and then turning into a whole other thing probably as well in season 9. So I don't know. Another character they've been screwing over is Daryl. I can't stand him anymore, but some people think that this is intentional and AMC plans to fire Norman Reedus in the near future. Thoughts? Well, first of all, Norman Reedus was the one that just came out and said recently after Carl's death and bite and everything, when he was like, he was kind of threatening Gimple and everyone when everyone was sort of campaigning for Gimple's firing. And he was like, if you kill everyone that everyone loved and everyone started this thing with, what do you have left? What sort of show do you have anymore? And whatever. And, and he's right. And so if people have stopped watching, a lot of people stopped watching after Glenn. We know people that stopped Glenn. So, like, that was a real thing that people dropped off after that. And also just because of the story it was, how dark the rest of season 7 went. Like, people were just sort of dropping off week by week. And I was actually shocked at how low the ratings for this finale was. I know that it was also in theaters, so people that would normally be watching it live at home were also out watching it in theaters, but I've also heard reports that the theaters were half empty. So I'm not sure exactly how much money or people the theaters drew. But even so, the finale only got 7.9 million live TV viewers, and I was expecting it to hit at least like 10, maybe. Because they hyped up this finale, like so much promotion. They came out saying that it was really kind of wrapping up not only the last 2 years of this whole Negan arc, but also sort of wrapping up the first 8 seasons, and they made this big deal about it, and it didn't even do better than the mid-season premiere. Like that's like that clearly kind of shows you that people don't care. Like, people stopped caring during this Negan arc, but like they don't even care how it ended at that point. Like, you know what I mean? And obviously, like, 7 million is still a fantastic number. Most shows would love to have that many viewers. I understand this, okay, but it's not good for Walking Dead standards. And, you know, people try to say the excuse that, like, oh, well, like, people watch TV on different mediums now, and there's, you know, people that wait to watch it, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, really, everyone is doing that now. Every single Walking Dead viewer in the last 16 weeks has suddenly decided to stop watching it on live TV, and or to just cut their cable to whatever. Like, I find that hard to believe. I feel like people just started not caring, and, you know, and that's like pretty telling. I mean, like, finales, like season premieres and season finales always typically do better than, you know, than other episodes throughout the series, and this finale like couldn't even bump up above the mid-season premiere or the mid-season finale, I think, whatever it was. And now it's like, like, that is not. I was pretty shocked. I mean, that did a lot worse than I predicted. So yeah. Season 7's finale was so hopeful. All that hope in the finale for depressing season, mid-season finale, and premiere. Ugh. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, because, like, you can see my reaction to the season 7 finale. I was in tears because I was so excited at the thought, like, when you know, when the kingdom rushed in and the hilltop rushed in, I was like, oh my god, yes, like, we're finally getting to, like, a hopeful thing. The group is back. We're fighting back. Like, it's going to be great. It's going to be hopeful. Like, it ended with that beautiful music and Maggie holding on to Glenn's pocket watch and giving that speech and her voiceover or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, I was crying because I was like, this is really nice. Like, we're wrapping this up. We're moving into, like, a more hopeful season 8, right? I was like, no. And then mid-season premiere, they kill Carl, which was so... It was just extra. It was just extra. Like, it didn't need to, you know what I mean? And then anyone that had already been like, this is depressing, I'm not really into this anymore, like, why would they keep watching after that? Like, that's, like, the most depressing thing they could ever do, in my opinion. I'd always said that. I'd always thought that. And that's how it is to me right now. Like, I'm just... It's just a depressing thing to think about. Like, yes, it's fictional. Yes, I know this. But it's just like... I don't know, man. I just can't stop thinking about it, and it's just really upsetting. Small thing, but I wish Carl and Sadiq were sharing chocolate pudding instead of a big cat. Nice callback. I feel like that would have been too obvious of a callback, though. It would have been a little too much, and, like, the pudding thing kind of became a meme, so that might not have been a good thing to be like, hey, have some pudding on my deathbed, basically. I kind of liked the big cat, because I feel like some people might not have remembered the significance of that. And so I obviously remembered with him and Michonne and everything. That's what kills me too, as well, is, like, everything tied into his death. Like, Grimes Family 2.0. That was, like, my favorite aspect of this thing. I love Rick and Michonne, but it's like part of their whole relationship feels so, like, fragmented now. And I'm just like, it's so sad because, like, Carl is sort of why they even got close to begin with. You know what I mean? And it just feels so empty. It just feels like there's just such a void. Um, yeah. I don't know, but yeah. I'm happier since I've let go, honestly. I'm lame though. Yeah, I know. I don't doubt that life is probably a lot better if you're not worried about The Walking Dead, because I swear, you can't see it, guys, but I have like 20 gray hairs, and I honestly think it might be from The Walking Dead. Like I genuinely think it might be from all of the how upset this has made me. Like, genuinely upset I've been. Um like, and that's just like not good, you know? That's not good if a TV show is like impacting my health. like I like just like week to week just watching it and being angry or something is not going to be beneficial for my life. So, yeah. And the podcast that I listened to, they decided to stop covering the show. A different media outlet that I know stopped covering the show. So it's like a lot of people have given up on it. And I'm really sad though that the podcast that I listened to decided to stop covering it, but they literally are like, I hate this show. I don't enjoy watching it. It's a chore to watch the show. I don't want to spend 4 hours a week like trying to analyze it or talking about it and then recording this podcast, whatever, we're done. And I was like, oh, dang. And these guys have been doing the podcast for the show for 8 years. And they are done. And they're like, well, that's the last episode of The Walking Dead we are ever going to watch. Goodbye. And I'm like, wow. So, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying right now, is that I think it's interesting. Like that's the thing here. Like, you can do ratios, right? Like the way people are saying, oh no, like people have stopped watching the show. They haven't stopped watching the show. It's just that they're watching on different platforms. And, you know, times are changing, whatever. But then you can do a ratio, right? Like if you have these guys that have done this podcast for the last 8 years for this show, and they're fed up now and they're stopping doing their podcast for this thing that they've done for 8 years, at this point, you know, this is when they've decided to stop watching. Clearly, other people who have been there from day one are probably going to be making the same decision. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's safe to guess that there's going to be a lot of other people out there that feel the same way and are probably not going to return. So I think it's interesting. Honestly, I'm more interested in watching either the rise or continued decline of the show more than I am the actual show. Like, I think that's way more fascinating, and I'm very interested in that, and like reading articles about it and keeping up with the ratings and stuff like that. I think that's very interesting. So, yeah, guys. I feel like I can't stop watching The Walking Dead because every season they hype it up and then I want to see where it actually goes. I know, but they do that all the time and then I'm always disappointed. So I think the last season that I really enjoyed was season 6. But that might have only been because it was the first season I watched live. But then I remember that they did have great episodes like No Way Out and, you know, different stuff like that. But then wasn't Dumpstergate in season 6? So who knows? Maybe it wasn't that good. But yeah, so they've been doing some sketchy, not cool things for a while now. So, but yeah, for the most part, I thought season 6 was kind of fun. And season 6 also had, at least I think that's season 6. Let me see. Let me just make sure. Yeah, The Walking Dead. Season 6 also had the best minimalistic promo ever. The Shadows promo That is the best promo for the show ever. And it's just so simple. It's just that one with that really cool song in the background. And all the characters sort of like morphing into each other through shadows. It's like just such a great and simple promo. Like, it gives me chills. And I'm like, oh, if only, like, you know, I feel like that's when the show was still pretty good. And that promo is enough to be like, that looks awesome. And it just makes me sad now too, because like Sasha's in the promo and she's dead, Abraham's in the promo, he's dead, Glenn's in the promo, he's dead, and Carl's in the promo and now he's dead. And I love that shot of Carl. I used it at the very, very, very end of my tribute video where he's just, you know, coming out of the shadows and putting the hat on his head. Oh, I'm gonna cry again. So yeah, guys. Yeah, so if you haven't watched my Carl tribute video, please do. I would really, really, really appreciate it. I, you know, share it around. It just hit 1,000. It's 1,007 views. Hopefully it'll take off. I hope. I worked hard on that thumbnail too. And I also think it's interesting, you know, I wanted the thumbnail to almost be like a movie poster because I tried to edit the video as if it were a movie. I think it's interesting too because Chandler auditioned for Spider-Man, I guess. And I think it's so funny because he was so salty on Twitter because like he didn't get the role and he was so salty. He put like a picture of himself from The Walking Dead, like standing like very like proudly next to like the silhouette photo of Spider-Man, and he was like, congrats to whoever gets the Spider-Man gig, would have been awesome for me. And I was like, wow, Chandler, I can taste the salt through my phone right now. But yeah, so there's that. And then also I think recently I remember seeing on Twitter when he had like bangs, he was like, I look like emo Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3, and I was like, that's from the trilogy! So obviously he likes Spider-Man and the trilogy and stuff, so that'd be pretty cool if he saw it. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching this chat and chilling with me. It's been fun. I always lose my voice by the end of these things, but what can you do? I am gonna go work on my Even Stevens blog because I'm due for one of those this week. And I'm definitely gonna do stuff like that on my channel now that like I'm kind of done with Walking Dead stuff. I might do throwback Walking Dead stuff though. Thank you to whoever suggested that. That might be kind of fun. Me and my mom, you know, chill and do that. Watch some old episodes. And yeah, so yeah, what else was I just saying? Why can't I remember what I was saying? I don't know. Anyway, guys, yeah. So thanks for watching. And yeah, I think that's everything. So yeah. I will, oh no, yeah, I was saying that I'm definitely gonna do a series review of Even Stevens on my channel when I'm done with my blog. So just be prepared for that. That's gonna be popping in your subscription box. I wanted to have something like that. So, because you know what I mean? It's my channel. I'm gonna talk about the things that I love. I don't want to be a negative Nelly on my channel. I want to talk about things I like. So I'm going to do that. And more people need to watch that show anyway. So I'm going to give my glowing recommendation. and retrospective review now that I'm going to have finished watching and ranking and reviewing all 65 episodes, which I can't even believe I'm moving on to number 10 this week. So, into the top 10. Very exciting for me, but also bittersweet because I've spent so much time on this blog. Okay, but yeah, guys, so thank you for watching. I will see you next week, probably back on my main channel. Just because Walking Dead's over and I'm kind of over it. So I will see you guys next week or whatever my next video is. And yeah, all right.